Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to bring some much-needed structured clarity to a completely chaotic habit that, let's be real, affects almost all of us: impulsive spending. So, have you ever bought something entirely on impulse? Say, I don't know, a neon sign for your kitchen at 2 a.m., and then immediately regretted it the next day? Well, if we're being honest with ourselves, we all have. If you've ever fallen victim to a sudden shopping urge, you are definitely not alone. It's a near universal experience. But, when it becomes a pattern, that's when it can quietly, but very powerfully, throw our actual life goals way off track.
Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The urge to splurge. 2. The anatomy of an impulse buy. 3. The fallout of impulsivity. 4. Breaking the habit. And finally, 5. Mastering your spending.
Section 1. The urge to splurge. Understanding the numbers behind our spontaneous shopping habits. Now, it's absolutely crucial to realize right up front that impulse buying isn't just some personal failing on your part. It's a massive, widespread phenomenon. To put this into perspective, a recent comprehensive study published in the International Journal of Novel Research and Development surveyed 350 consumers. And what they found was that the average impulse buying tendency was a 5.43 out of 10. That essentially proves this is a very normal, moderate, everyday impulse for the average person.
And what's really fascinating here is how this bell curve visually validates that varying degrees of impulsivity are practically universal. You can see the vast majority of respondents are clustered right there in the middle, sitting somewhere between a 3 and an 8. It is simply a normal human baseline to feel these sudden desires to just buy something.
But, of course, here's the catch. Our modern environment is meticulously engineered to trigger this exact baseline behavior. Enter social commerce, or S-commerce. Basically, this is a business model combining social media and e-commerce to promote user-vendor interaction and accelerate immediate, unplanned purchases. By leveraging highly personalized recommendations and those limited-time offers right in our social feeds, S-commerce literally removes all the friction, taking away virtually all barriers to immediate gratification. Section 2. Anatomy of an impulse buy. Breaking down the triggers and thoughts that lead to checkout. Now, the absolute most dangerous thing about an impulse buy is the speed. It happens so fast. At 0 seconds, you have the trigger. Maybe you're stressed, maybe you're bored, or just feeling a bit lonely. Within just 30 seconds, your brain is already beginning the rationalization process. Then, by the 2-minute mark, thanks to the frictionless design of modern shopping apps, the purchase is done. You barely even had time to think. But fast forward 24 hours, the dopamine drops, and the reality of the consequence sets in.
And while science and tech explain a huge part of this phenomenon, human beings have historically used a lot of different lenses to understand these intense urges. For instance, in astrology, individuals with a placement of Mars in the second house are believed to be heavily driven by strong financial desires and a major attraction to luxury. This particular framework suggests that these folks possess a fearless approach to wealth, which leads to a tendency toward impulsive spending and quick financial risks, while also remaining fiercely protective of family values. It's really just one alternative lens that some use to make sense of these strong, sudden urges.
Section 3. The fallout of impulsivity. The hidden costs of the quick click.
So, while the thrill of that 2-minute purchase is fleeting, the consequences? Well, they cascade. We often see immediate financial repercussions, sometimes even leading to living paycheck to paycheck, and that triggers heavy buyer's remorse and really deep feelings of guilt. Ultimately, this habit derails our truly meaningful long-term goals, things like homeownership or education, creating severe psychological stress and pulling us into a completely vicious cycle.
Section 4. Breaking the habit. Cognitive behavioral therapy tools to regain control.
Fortunately, we do have evidence-based solutions to actually interrupt this behavior. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, teaches us to reframe our internal justifications with rapid call-and-response logic. So when the impulse thought says, "I deserve this," we counter it immediately with a helpful response: "I don't deserve to sabotage my other goals." Because true self-care doesn't involve blowing a reasonable budget.
What about when your brain tells you, "Hey, this'll make me feel better"? You have to remind yourself right then and there. The feeling never lasts, and it just causes regret. Look, while a purchase might relieve your anxiety or your boredom for a couple of minutes, it ultimately leaves you feeling worse due to self-recrimination and guilt.
And then there's the biggest trap of all. It's just this one time. We have to aggressively challenge this myth. The helpful response here is,
Every single time strengthens the impulse habit for next time. Every impulse buy chemically and psychologically reinforces the habit. It makes it measurably harder to resist the urge the next time it happens.
CBT also relies heavily on preloaded behavior pathways. These if-then coping strategies are incredibly practical. Basically, if you find yourself boredom browsing, then walk for 10 minutes or call a friend. If you feel stress or anxiety, then do a mindfulness meditation or go make a cup of tea. If you open a shopping app, then you can add stuff to the cart, but you absolutely must wait 24 hours before actually checking out. These pre-planned responses physically reroute your brain away from an emotional trigger and point it toward a healthy coping mechanism.
Section 5. Mastering your spending. Riding the wave and aligning with your true values. To bring all of this together, I want to leave you with a really powerful visual metaphor that helps you master the urge without feeling super restricted. It's a CBT technique called urge surfing. I want you to think of your cravings just like ocean waves. They swell, they peak, and eventually they will crash and fade. Step 1. Notice and label the urge. Step 2. Rate the intensity on a scale from 1 to 10. And Step 3. Simply wait 10 to 15 minutes for it to peak and recede. You see, you don't actually have to fight the wave. You just have to give it 15 minutes to wash right over you.
Because ultimately, the goal isn't to deprive yourself, it's to spend in a way that truly aligns with your values. That is the true core takeaway of this explainer. We aren't trying to stop spending entirely. We're just trying to ensure that our hard-earned money funds our genuine long-term goals, rather than just acting as a temporary band-aid for stress or boredom.
So, I'll leave you with this one thought. The next time the urge hits, will you ride the wave? Empower yourself to take a breath, use these CBT tools, and stay anchored to your goals the next time a targeted ad tries to catch you off guard. Thanks for exploring this topic with me. And hey, happy surfing!